The Special Air Service, or SAS, is a special forces unit of the British Army. Founded in 1941, this unit performs a number of roles including covert reconnaissance, counter-terrorism, direct action, and hostage rescue. The SAS was established to assist in highly classified, more unconventional operations during World War II. In 1945, the war was over. The British government saw no further need for the force, and the unit was disbanded. But within a year, it was decided that there was a need for a long-term commando unit, and the SAS regiment was re-established in 1947. The majority of information and actions regarding the SAS is highly classified and is not disclosed by the British government or Ministry of Defence due to the sensitivity of their operations. In fact, it wasn't until 1980 that the SAS gained notoriety worldwide after the televised hostage rescue during the Iranian embassy siege. After the reactivation of Team Rainbow in 2015, 4 SAS commandos were recruited to bring their skills and expertise in to assist in the fight against terrorism on a global scale. These commandos were called Sledge, Thatcher, Mute, and Smoke. Seamus Cowden, codenamed Sledge, is an attacking operator in Team Rainbow. Born and raised in the Scottish Highlands, Sledge has a physical presence that demands attention and respect. In his younger days, he was the captain of the 1998 Scotland national under-20s rugby team. He has a strong desire for public service and went on to enlist in the army at the age of 18. After 5 years of duty, he was recruited by the SAS. To this day, Sledge still holds the all-time speed and strength record for the SAS qualifying physical exam. Sledge's professionalism and tactical abilities are top tier and made him an integral member of the SAS. He was expected to perform at the absolute highest level in his new role as a Rainbow operator. He is identified as an incredibly imposing, self-assured and athletic individual. There is a certain wildness to his personality, which no doubt has been shaped by the rugged terrain he is born into. A proud and stoic Scottishman, though he genuinely acknowledges that he can be a little hot-headed at times. An enthusiastic and avid storyteller, he enjoys reminiscing about the good old days, and is thrilled when he finds an eager ear who will listen to his tales. Eternally mischievous and a thrill-seeker, he recalls a particular account of when he was 12 years old, when he managed to construct his own hand glider out of boat sails and launched himself off his roof. Not surprisingly, he broke both ankles. In regards to tales during his military training, he recounts a time where he accidentally collapsed his entire barracks sleeping quarters while testing out a new breaching technique. On another occasion, he decided to commandeer his captain's motorbike and proceeded to ride it off the pier because he wanted to see how far it would travel on the surface. Not far, he admitted, as it sank quickly after. Overall, Siege is an easygoing, unpretentious operator, though he gets ruffled at the mention of politics. A self-proclaimed news junkie, he doesn't shy away from debates. In fact, it's one of the main reasons he joined the military. Always a true professional while on assignment, he understands that Rainbow operators refrain from voicing their political opinions to keep the peace, and so far there's been no issues regarding this. However, it's not to say that he doesn't speak his piece, especially after a few beers down at the pub. He views the other operators in the SAS as family, most notably Thatcher in particular, who he acknowledges convinced him to switch to the caber. A large number of Rainbow operators refer to Sledge as one of the easiest teammates to work with. A number of field reports illustrate his leadership, courage, and extensive operational experience, though don't mistakenly view him as just another gentle giant, as his volatility still exists. Over time, Sledge developed operational expertise in breaking down barriers using a breaching hammer. His specialized tactical breaching hammer is known as the caber, and can breach through almost all non-reinforced surfaces and barricades, with silent yet aggressive pace. Breaching hammers are nothing new to counter-terrorism or law enforcement, but what makes the caber so unique is its exceptional size and weight. For most agents, this would be cumbersome and impractical, but Sledge's exceptional physical prowess makes him a formidable presence on the battlefield, allowing for quick and effective breaches.
GPS satellites, unmanned drones, fucking laser sights. the more crutches you have, the more it hurts when they're kicked out from under you. If there's one thing I know for sure, it's that a 6-inch blade never loses reception.
Mike Baker, codenamed Thatcher, is an attacking operator in Team Rainbow. From Bideford, England, he comes from a family of dock workers. On his 18th birthday, he enlisted for active military duty. A veteran of 3 wars, Thatcher was the oldest SAS operative on active duty until he was recruited by Team Rainbow. He saw action at the Battle of Goose Green during the Falklands conflict. He was involved in the rescue operation of the Iranian embassy siege in 1980, and he was a veteran of the Gulf War. Thatcher's performance on and off the battlefield and during 2 major political conflicts made him a natural fit for VIP protection duty. He is highly proficient in close quarters combat and is a world caliber expert in anti-electronics operations. Thatcher is highly observant, calculating, and decisive. While he may come off as a bit grumpy and impatient, he has a profound sense of ethical responsibility. It's recommended to assign Thatcher with junior operators of strong moral conviction, of whom he can mentor. Raised in a coastal town, he has a strong affiliation with the water. Thatcher enjoys crafting things with his hands, and what he most appreciates about boat building is shaping the wood into something that has a purpose. Some suggest that this is how he mentors recruits. He is adept at bringing out their natural abilities. A true salt-of-the-earth individual, he'll tell it like it is, which can often come across as being gruff and abrupt. Getting to know him requires some effort, however it's worth it in the long run, as he is a highly sought-after and well-respected individual. It should come as no surprise that he's extremely cynical towards the government, and has a high aversion towards technology. Though it's not to say that he can't figure it out, it's just that to him, technology is just a tool, like a hammer or a screwdriver, and the idea that so many people come to rely on it as a crutch greatly annoys him. Thatcher has a remarkable background in the military, and is a deeply respected individual, and in some cases idolised by those he mentors. Sledge and him get along extremely well, and he considers him one of his very close friends. Surprisingly, he also has a large amount of respect for Mute, even though he usually has a surprisingly low tolerance for young whippersnippers, and seems almost envious of him at times, conversationally admitting that he thinks Mute is a clever kid. This may be due to the younger man's exceptional skills with technology, or even because he echoes someone Thatcher wishes he could have been. When not on assignment, Thatcher lives in a boatyard aboard his vessel, Iron Maggie, who he enjoys repairing in his spare time. Maggie is his retirement plan, as after his divorce was finalised, he found himself without a home. He plans to eventually live out his days on the sea. Thatcher is equipped with EG MKO EMP grenades. When thrown, they'll let out an electromagnetic pulse after a few seconds, either destroying or disabling all electronics within a 5-metre radius. The EMP's efficiency in anti-electronic warfare has been known and studied since the early 60s. Team Rainbow's engineers recently made a breakthrough in solving the problem of creating a localized fission reaction while keeping the gamma radiation to tolerable levels, resulting in the EG MKO EMP grenade, a personal handheld device. No one is more suited to wield this novel device than Thatcher, known for his warnings against over-reliance on technology.
What the hell are they doing out of position? I don't think anyone deserves to go out there. Crap, that's gotta be it. Anyone comes through that door, go, get up there. Big old crap. Son of a bitch, we're gonna take the ground. Get down there. Hey, I heard you. Wait. What do you mean everything? Send the couple guys. Fuck. Wait, you see that? Get ready. The camera feed went down. We're ready.
Mark Chandler, codenamed Mute, is a defending operator in Team Rainbow. Born in York, England, Mute graduated from secondary school at the age of 12. A child prodigy, he went on to complete an internship at a British tech company where he worked on prototypes for a new security system, and then, at the ripe old age of 14, he was accepted into the University of Cambridge. Mute is highly intelligent and analytical. He's used to being the smartest person in the room. A man of few words, he prefers to be short and concise when passing information, and because of this, he's often misread as being rude. It isn't immediately clear why his codename is Mute. Though he dislikes small talk, he isn't particularly reserved, and in fact can be quite brash, a trait that is off-putting to some. He can be somewhat impatient, and this can be noticed in social interactions, and he can often struggle to shake it off when in this frame of mind. Thatcher is surprisingly tolerant of this trait, and will often speak up in Mute's defense. He is drawn to certain personalities, ones that have a more abstract way of thinking. Operator Glaz has a similar talent for seeing complex situations in a unique way. Given Mute's background in information security, he understands secrecy and seems uncomfortable with expressing himself or with personal questions. In his field, here at Rainbow, information is a critical life and death commodity. Mute is equipped with 4 GC90 Moni signal disruptors, which are portable devices which can be placed on the floor to jam attackers' electronic devices in a wider area. Developed by Britain's Government Communications Headquarters, the Moni was originally designed as a portable device that could black out radio transmissions or communication devices for covert or sensitive meetings between British government officials and foreign interests. As one of the primary engineers on the project, Mute created a variant of this device that has double the effective range of the original GCHQ signal disruptor.
I know what you're wondering. What's in the canister? I could tell you, but then I'd have to kill you. I'm only mucking about. Relax. As for what's in the canister, it's best you don't ask.
James Porter, codenamed Smoke, is a defending operator in Team Rainbow. Smoke was not an academic, although in secondary school he excelled in science. He took a particular interest in biology and especially the topic of dissection. During his gap year, Smoke enlisted in the British Army, using a fake ID in order to avoid getting parental consent. After basic training, Smoke was stationed in Belfast, but he found the posting a bit dull in the wake of the March 2007 treaty. He went on to join the Army boxing team as a middleweight. Smoke is a thrill seeker with very little regard for his own safety. He is fearless in battle and can be a great asset for defensive maneuvers. However, he seems to enjoy the havoc and chaos of war just a little bit too much, and has an odd sense of humour when placed in stressful situations. Smoke's parents encouraged him to be a free spirit, to cultivate his own individual identity and level of education on his own terms, when he deemed himself ready. Due to his enlightened, free-range education, it helped to create a complex, dynamic person who isn't easily categorized. Even today, he enjoys acquiring new skills, and once he's mastered something, he quickly moves on to the next challenge. Although very little is known about his adopted daughter, it's obvious that Smoke is proud of her. The one photo he carries around in his wallet showcases her as a young infant, surrounded by dangerous paraphernalia. Now in high school, she is excelling, and through her, Smoke is able to see the world from a completely different viewpoint. Smoke is consistently described as detached and withdrawn. Interestingly, this most often occurs during high-intensity situations. Therefore, it is likely not detachment, but pure focus, enabling him to stay on task and filter out any unnecessary distractions. He strives to keep emotions away from decision-making, opting for outlets, such as live music events, to remove the tension, and enabling him to be the person he needs to be while on the job. Even though he can come across as a little reckless and a bit of a thrill seeker, Smoke is appreciated by his unit and considered an invaluable asset. But regardless, Smoke has a deep understanding and respect of fear, and believes, rather than trying to pretend we never feel it, to embrace it. Smoke requested a portable device system that could deliver the most damage to intruders in a targeted area. He was equipped with Compound Z8 remote gas grenades. Using a remote detonator, Smoke can view the results from a distance. The mines are filled with a collection of biological chemicals that on their own are inert, but when combined, have a more volatile effect. The resulting concoction will damage or kill anyone exposed to it. Even if the enemies are not caught in the gas, it's thick enough to act as a normal smoke grenade cloud, blocking vision in the area. The original version of this video was my first attempt at covering the lore of siege operators, and after a few subtle hints from the community, I realised a number of small mistakes and large pieces of information that are completely missed. So it was always the plan to update this one, it just took a little longer than I expected to get to it. I'm thoroughly enjoying the story behind these guys, and I'm learning a lot about the massive number of special forces groups from around the world, some I'd never heard of. Anyway, thank you very much for watching, I hope you've enjoyed this, and I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers!